Hello everyone, I'm Karen and welcome to another video. Now today we're going to do another box set video. Now judging by my t-shirt, I'm going to do one on Elvis Presley. So today I'm going to go over this box set, which is Walk a Mile in My Shoes, the Essential 70s Master. So I'm going to go over this bit background about the box set, show you all the content. We'll talk about the content in here as well, and yeah, just talk about the box set really. So this box set came out in 1995, and it was the third and last volume in a series of box sets called the Masters. We get the complete 50s Masters, we then get the essential 60s Masters, and then the 70s Masters. Now, the 50s box set had all the 50s recordings up to that point, all the existing known 50s recordings, even the Masters as well, and alternate versions. The 60s were from Nashville to Memphis box set focused on the studio masters, but there was a release for the soundtrack songs of the 60s on a separate release, and then this came out. So yeah, this was I think the last in the Masters series. This one, unlike the 50s and 60s box sets, these have concepts to each disc, as you can see on the back. So we're going to talk about the content, as I say, and so yeah, here's the front. Picture of Elvis on stage. Now this is the American version. I bought this. I was having a hard time trying to find a copy of this box set for a good price, but then I went to Canada a year and a bit ago, and I found a copy of this box set for $25, which is pretty good considering 5 CDs in a book. So I was like, yeah, no brainer, get it. Would like to get the British version, the normal version with the LP kind of size box like the 50s and 60s box sets are, and I've shown both those box sets in another video, so go check them out. So yeah, but still nice to have in the long box. Actually, I quite like it with that. Actually, I mean, here's the spine, the top, side. There's the bottom, and there's the back. All the tracks on here. So the first 2 discs are the singles from the 70s. Then we get studio highlights from 70 to 71. Which even includes alternate and unedited takes, and even the unedited masters. Disc 4, studio highlights from 71 to 76, which again has some alternate takes and some unreleased versions of songs. And the 5th disc is the Elvis Presley Show, which has live recordings from 1970 to 1977, up to Elvis's death. So yeah, let's just take the lid off, like so. Just plain black on the inside. And this was only ever issued on CD, and I think cassette, never on vinyl. But again, this, like, as I said, this did come out in 1995. So, as I say, vinyl was not really the predominant format, really, and very few of vinyl were being pressed. So yeah. Anyway, here's the front. Back with a little quote from Elvis with when he got the 10 Outstanding Award of Young Men Nation of Award, the JC's Award in 1971. I'll read it. It says, "When I was a child, ladies and gentlemen, I was a dreamer. I read comic books and I was the hero of the movie. So every dream that I've ever dreamed has come true 100 times. I learned very early in life that without a song, the day would never end. Without a song, a man ain't got a friend. Without a song, the road would never bend. Without a song. So I keep singing a song. Good night, thank you." Which was a quote, which has been a quote that's been used in a lot of things from Elvis, either the documentaries or even at the end of the Elvis biopic film that with Baz Luhrmann did. He used that quote, that bit of footage from Elvis. So yeah, which is really true. Great quote from Elvis. One of Elvis's great quotes. Here's the inside. And here's a picture. A little forward there. And some nice pictures as well. Many of which I've not seen. There's a picture from the That's the Way It Is rehearsal. It's a picture of them, I think, rehearsing for the Aloha from Hawaii via satellite show. Here's some pictures from 72 and 73. I think I've seen that one before of Elvis in like a cowboy hat. I think that's a picture from the, yeah, that says backstage at the Houston Aerodrome, February 1970, which was Elvis's first kind of outside Vegas shows in the first shows of the 70's. That's a great photo. I've never seen. That's like the from like the balcony of the International Hotel showroom in Vegas, where Elvis played a lot of times from 1969 to 1976. That's another nice one that I've never seen before. Inside, this picture of him in 1970 with there's Felton Jarvis, who was Elvis's producer at this period. And there's pictures of James Burton, who was of course Elvis's guitarist. Not too sure where he is. I think he might be there. Yeah, that's James Burton, who was Elvis's guitarist. Then you get all the recording data, which is really cool. It tells you what date they were recorded, where they were recorded, what was recorded on that day, and even the release, in case you know it was previously on the albums it came from, the catalog number, or even if it's never been released before, so which is really cool. And even the people, the producers and the engineers and all the musicians, the personnel as they call it. That's Elvis and his dad Vernon. That picture's been used in quite a few things before. It's quite a nice one. And the discography on, I think, both US and UK, you get this, and it tells you when it was released and where it charted. For both albums and singles. That picture was later used on the From Elvis Presley Boulevard, Memphis, Tennessee album cover. Yep, it's got UK releases as well. Here's all the covers and all the albums and singles of all the releases that were in Elvis's lifetime. Credits. And there's the stamp sheet, which of course the 50's box set and the 60's box set come with. The 70's box set as well has this as well. This is in my copy. It only goes up from like the Let's Be Friends album, Camden album in 1970, up to Elvis in Concert, which was released after Elvis passed, but it was recorded in the weeks before, so I can see why they've included the picture of Elvis in Concert on here, because it was, as I said, it had been recorded in the weeks before his death, but it wasn't released until after he passed away. Okay, so we're gonna get it started. So here's the first disc. Disc 1 is the singles from The Wonder of You up to in 1970, up to Separate Ways or Always on My Mind in 1972. Back. Picture from the Aloha Show. Now this has like a lot of the main singles, but it doesn't include Kentucky Rain, which was released in 1970, but it was recorded in 69 and therefore appears in the 60's box set. So that's why it's not on here. But it does include I Just Can't Help Believin', which is a song that B.J. Thomas done in 1969, 70, thereabouts, and Elvis recorded it during the That's the Way It Is residency, which the film and documentary, and it was only released as a single in the UK, but it did come out in the That's the Way It Is album. Inside you get all the recording info and the writers, which is quite nice, and some information as well. So yeah. So that's inside there. Disc 2 is continuation, is also the singles. Another picture from Aloha. So, you know, so the 70s with Elvis, if you ask me, sometimes my favourite era with Elvis does vary. One day I'll say 50s, one day I'll say 60s, and I'll say 70s. So it does vary from time to time, as I've said in my channel a few times. But yeah, I like the 70s Elvis output. I know some people are a bit critical of some of the 70s output, but I like a lot of the 70s, a lot of his later year recordings. Inside. So yeah, this disc is from 72 up to, from Always on My Mind up to Way Down, Pledging My Love single in 77, which was issued I think just before Elvis's passing. Here's the first disc. It's the disc 3, Studio Highlights from 1970 to 1971. So it goes from like the That's the Way It Is kind of era, Elvis country, so 1970 to 71. And you get some, as I said, you get some unedited alternate versions of songs. You even get some of the you get Bridge Over Troubled Water on here without the live applause, which was tacked on at the end on the That's the Way It Is album version. You also get an unedited version of Faded Love, and you even get a version of Tomorrow Never Knows, which includes a false start, because the intro sounds similar to Roy Orbison's song Running Scared, the and then in this version, in the false start, Elvis sings Just Running Scared, the Roy Orbison song. That's quite really funny to hear Elvis, and then he does the Tomorrow Never Comes actual song. Then we get a long version of Washing My Hands in Muddy Water. Then we get an alternate take of Amazing Grace, and there's an informal recording of him doing the Beatles song Lady Madonna. So again. Disc 4, 71 to 76. Quite like that back picture. And you get a informal recording of him singing "I Shall Be Released," which I think was a Bob Dylan song. I'm not sure. Then we get an unedited version of It's Still Here, the undubbed version of "I'll Take You Home Again, Kathleen," the jam edit of "Don't Think Twice, It's All Right," which the unedited version has come out and it lasted for like 11 minutes, and there have been different releases of it edited because it was edited on the full album in 1973. So we get another edit of that song. We've since had the complete unedit, but you get My Way, the studio version of My Way, which Elvis did live from the period of Aloha until his last live shows in 77. And he recorded it in the studio, but he never put it out until this box set had the studio version of My Way on it. And then you get For the Good Times, which again Elvis did live, recorded in the studio, but a studio version of that song never came out until this box set, which is quite good. And then we get an alternate version of She Thinks I Still Care from the Jungle Room sessions in 76, but it's the Take 2B, so it's like a bluesy version of that song, which is quite an interesting version, I must say. There's the book. So yeah, you do get, quite nice they threw in some alternate takes in all three of these box sets, because I always like it when they have an Elvis release like that. So I've got loads of Elvis releases with some alternate takes. I might actually do a video on all the alternate takes that are available when I talk about the recording sessions, or if I do something like that. And disc 5 is the Elvis Presley Show. So again, as I stated earlier, this has live performances from 1970 till 77, and the disc finishes with some rehearsal tracks, which are The 12th of Never, Softly As I Leave You, Alla en el Rancho Grande, Froggy Went A-Courtin', and Stranger in My Own Hometown. Now that version of Stranger in My Own Hometown, the rehearsal version, has been edited because Elvis uses some bad language in this version, but that we've had the uncut version on bootlegs, and I think on the Sunset Boulevard box set as well. But this was the first time we had the version of Elvis singing The 12th of Never, which is from the August 1974 rehearsal, and it was released as a CD single here before the box set came out. The inside, really quick. And yeah, it says rehearsal recorded on 16th of August 1974, RCA Studios, Hollywood, California. Audio source, a 2-track cassette tape deck. So this was done from a cassette rehearsal, taken from a rehearsal cassette, that song, which is 12 Never we know from people like Johnny Mathis or Donny Osmond, but Elvis also did a rehearsal version of it, and you even get some unreleased live recordings. So you get versions of Never Been to Spain from 72, you get versions of Heartbreak Hotel and I Was the One from 1970, Something, which is the Beatles song from 1970, a live version of that. So yeah, we get quite a lot, and then we get the versions of Reconsider Baby and I'll Remember You, which were from the afternoon show at Madison Square Garden in June 1972, the Saturday afternoon show that RC recorded. Those two songs were previously available on the A Legendary Performer Volume 4 album, but we had them released here as well on this box set, but the entire show wouldn't be released until the Afternoon in the Garden album in 1997. So, yeah, some of this material might be seen as a bit redundant now, but still nice to have some of the material that's probably not available elsewhere on this this box set. And it's good for like collectors like myself. So yeah, really good box set. So I'll show you the CD single here, 12th of November, which came out to promote the box set. Sticker here, which also contains on the CD Walk a Mile in My Shoes and Burn in Love. And my copy has a sticker in the back saying 31/10/95. So it indicates that this was purchased on the 31st of October 1995. So around about the time of this set. So there we are, that's it for this this box set video really. I hope you all enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I hope we should have a vinyl update out soon. Just need to get everything together, because I've bought quite a lot of stuff over the last few months. So yeah, I'm going to the next vinyl update will probably pick up from where the last one ended. So yeah, hopefully I'll get around to making that one sometime soon. But anyway, hope you all enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you again for the next video.